Hey guys, so the other day I was at Kroger and I got a credit card offer on my receipt. I can't remember the last time that happened to me, but I wanted to show you guys how I evaluate if credit card offers make sense for my personal life or not, because I thought that would be kind of fun. I know that sometimes the math can be a little intimidating to people and they don't know where to start. So that's what we're gonna do today. If this video is helpful for you, remember to like and subscribe. It really helps my videos reach more people. Now keep in mind here, I am not a financial advisor or a financial professional. This is just my personal experience and how I would evaluate a credit card offer like this. All right, so this credit card is called the Kroger Rewards World Elite Mastercard. And what caught my eye on this receipt is that it appears that this card will get you 55 cents off per gallon of gas at Kroger fuel centers nationwide. I go to Kroger fuel centers all the time. That's where I get most of my gas. And so that's why it's kind of an interesting offer. So we're gonna walk through everything that this card offers and evaluate if it makes sense for me or not. Now, one thing I just want to call out is that I'm going to do this whole evaluation based on my personal habits, like how often I get gas, where I get gas, my car, the other credit cards that I already have. It's going to be very personal to me. And this is what I want you guys to think about if you're evaluating if a credit card offer makes sense to you. Just because it makes sense for a friend of yours to get does not mean it necessarily makes sense for you to get the same card. And this is an exercise that I would go through with really any card to make sense if it's worth it. So the first thing that we're going to do is Google Kroger Rewards World Elite Mastercard to find out the details. So we're going to click on this first link here. And I see a few different things about this offer to start with. So first of all, this card offers 5% cash back on mobile wallet purchases for the first $3,000. Let's talk about that for a second. A mobile wallet purchase is basically when you load your card in and use Apple Pay or something similar where you're not actually swiping or putting your chip card in the machine. Now, 5% I think is a very strong offer. Typically, when you have credit cards like this, if you're getting 5 to 6% cash back, it's in a very specific category, so like groceries or restaurants or something like that. Generally, it's not like blanket across every category. So it's interesting that this is just anything that you would pay kind of through Apple Pay would work. I do like that. I don't personally use Apple Pay very often. So not a selling point for me on the card, but it's definitely a perk. Now, I will say that you need to be careful with the first $3,000 because if you actually spend $3,000 a year using Apple Pay, you would only want to use this card for Apple Pay. And the reason is, let's say you spend $1,000 at Walmart or something and you swipe that card instead of paying with Apple Pay, you're going to get 1% cash back instead of the 5% cash back. And it's not like you can get another $1,000 with 5% cash back later. It's saying like, okay, you've already used up your first $1,000 of that $3,000. So now you can only get 5% off on that second $2,000, if that makes sense. So it's a little weird. You would really only want to use this card, I think, on your mobile wallet purchases for that reason. Now, there's also no annual fee on this card. If you don't find yourself using that card all the time, it's not a big deal to leave the account open and just, not charge with it because you're not paying for anything. Whereas if you're paying an annual fee, you should be reevaluating every year before that fee gets charged to your account, whether or not it still makes financial sense to have that card. Now, getting into the other parts of this offer, you'll get 2% cash back at Kroger stores. In looking a little bit further down this page, I can see that Kroger stores does not include Kroger fuel centers. So this is literally just on groceries where you would get the 2% back. You get 1% cash back on everything else. So the 2% cash back at grocery stores, I think this is actually terrible. You can get a way better deal on a few different other credit cards. The two that immediately come to mind to me are two Amexes. So I have the Blue Cash Preferred Amex card that gets you 6% back on groceries. It does come with a $95 annual fee. I personally make that up easily throughout the year with my purchases, so it's worth it to me. I've had that card since like 2015 and it's awesome. But there's also a free version that gets you 3% back on groceries. So to me, that's not a selling point of this card. There's way better options out there. Also 1% cash back at, non-Kroger locations is also not really a selling point. Most cards will get you at least 1% cash back, if not more. I personally have a credit card from Laurel Road that gives me It says 1% cash back everywhere, but you can actually redeem it for 2% cash back if you redeem it as a student loan payment. It's a long story, but I've left one single small student loan open. I have the cash to pay it off. I'm just waiting until the loan payment pause has ended before I actually pay it off. And so for now, my credit card rewards are actually knocking that balance down for me, which I just think is kind of fun. So the last piece of this is the 55 cents off per gallon of gas. And that, again, that's really why I'm even looking at this card to begin with. So we're gonna run some numbers on if this card even makes sense for me. So just a little bit of extra context. I have the Citi Costco credit card that gives me 4% off of gas purchases for any gas station. It doesn't have to just be a Costco gas station. So that's what I've been using for over a year now for my gas purchases. So we're gonna do some math here. We're gonna assume that I go get gas once a week, which I think I do. And 75% of the time, which is going to be 39 trips to the gas station, are to a Kroger fuel center. The reason I am calling this out is because I am a huge user of Kroger fuel points. Now, Kroger fuel points, for if you've never used them, you accrue them when you're shopping at Kroger. You get 1 fuel point for every $1 that you spend at Kroger. And then for every 100 fuel points that you can get 10 cents off a gallon of gas. So for gas stations that accept fuel points like a Shell station, you could get 10 cents off a gallon of gas at a time using your fuel points. But if you have a Kroger fuel center near you, you can actually stack those fuel points to get up to $1 off a gallon of gas at a time, which is phenomenal. That's personally what I do on a regular basis. So we're gonna assume that I'm making 39 trips to a Kroger fuel center for gas every year. And we're gonna assume that I am filling up a 14-gallon gas tank from empty. So if I do that and I'm saving 55 cents a gallon for each of those purchases, then with this card, I would be saving about $300, which is awesome. Now, what we have to factor in is the difference in cash back from me using the Kroger card versus using the Citi Costco card. So if I use the Citi card, and we're gonna assume here that I'm paying $3 a gallon for gas because, my fuel points might vary, but I would be getting $65 in cash back a year, which is essentially, a savings. Now, if I was to do those same purchases, but with this Kroger card, because I only get 1% cash back instead of the 4, I would only be getting about $16 in cash back. So there's like a $50 difference in the cash back, which, is not super significant. The Citi card is better, but, knowing that I'm getting the $300 in savings from the per gallon discount of Kroger, like the Kroger card is clearly a win for this category for me. Now, one other thing to consider is that for the first year, this is definitely a win. For the second year, I don't know. We're gonna do some math here too. So I noticed in the details of the credit card, if you spend over $6,000 in that first year on that card, then you would, instead of getting 55 cents per gallon off a gallon of gas, you would get 25 cents off per gallon of gas. Now, if you're under that $6,000 threshold, it's gonna drop from 55 cents to 5 cents per gallon of gas. Massive difference. So if I spend enough to get that 25 cents off per gallon, I'm gonna save about $136 a year on gas. If I am below that threshold and only get the 5 cents off per gallon, I'm only saving $27. And so at that point, my Citi card is better. So what I would probably do here is if I were to get this card, I would definitely use it for gas in that first year. That second year, it would really just depend on if I met that threshold or not. Which again, knowing that I'm not a huge Apple Wallet payer, I don't know if I would meet it. So again, I might keep the account open and just not use it a ton. We'd have to see. At the end of the day, it seems like this card actually could be a good fit for me. It's not a slam dunk, but I know that for my habits, I would get a positive return on it. And also, it may help me eliminate the need for my Costco card, which I do pay an annual fee for. I get some other benefits, so I would have to evaluate that separately. But it is a strong option. Now, just to reiterate, this is based on my personal habits, my finances, my credit card, my gas getting habits, and grocery shopping habits, obviously, because I shop at Kroger. So this would not be the same for you. You would need to figure out if this card or any other card really makes sense for your personal situation. Also, applying for a credit card is going to hit your credit score. My credit score is about 800. I know that it's not going to tank if I get this card. So if anything, it might help me in the long run because my overall credit utilization will be lower. It doesn't really matter too much since I pay it off in full every month though. And the last thing I want everyone to just remember is that if you do not pay your credit cards off in full every month, please do not get another credit card. Like, just pay off the ones that you have. Not only is sky high credit card interest just not worth it, it's a toxic mindset that is going to set you up to not be financially successful in the future. And I just don't want that to happen to anyone. So I'm going to drop a few links in the chat because I referenced quite a few credit cards during this video. The Amex Blue Cash Preferred, the Amex Everyday Preferred card, the Citi Costco card, as well as the Laurel Road Student Loan card. So I'll put all those in the description box below. So if you like content like this, please consider subscribing. I make a lot of videos on finance, your career, and your home life. Anything that involves really investing in yourself and setting you up for the best possible future. All right, and that's all I've got, but I really hope this helps you figure out if things like this are worth it for your future. And have a great rest of your day.